When he told me fourth gear wide open, I peed just a little bit.
Hello, Albert reporting for duty. Where are we?
We're in Monticello, I think. We're at the Bull Hollow Raceway.
Monticello, Bull Hollow Raceway. We'll just say Moab, Utah. Super cool, like mountains everywhere. Kyle from Dirt Bike Channel is here. Pretty cool. Can you tell these guys really quickly, first of all, kind of what you specialize in or what you do, and then secondly, how much experience do you have on a dirt bike event?
So I started riding 10 years ago. I'm 40. I've had well, after today, I'm confident to say I have 90 minutes on a track. Everything I've done is off-road, single track type stuff. So this is the first motocross, well, second motocross track I've ever been to. So I'm a total newbie at this. And AJ is gonna teach me how to jump. He saw me jump this thing over here, which is the biggest jump I've ever done. And he said, we need to level that up. We need to come into this step up. What is this, almost 100 feet?
It looks pretty big. But the good thing about this jump, so it's extreme, well, I mean, this powder's getting a little deep. You'll be fine. It's pretty forgiving, right? Where were you landing? If I had to guess, you were kind of like landing in what I call the bounce zone. So you were pretty consistently right here, ish. This is the most painful spot to land.
Yeah.
So the goal here is, and the great thing about this jump is you can't overshoot it. So I was telling a couple kids in class today, like if you want to hit this thing, hit it wide open.
Yeah.
I don't usually recommend wide open. It's either going to be third gear wide open or we might shift to fourth and just go fourth wide open. But the further you land up, the softer it's going to be. This is, believe it or not, a good jump as far as your natural progression goes.
Yeah.
That tabletop was a good step natural progression. But let's say if we took that to now the finish line, that's a lot higher risk of a jump.
Yeah, because its face is steep. This one has a fairly steep face, but
you're going uphill. So by the time you land, you've lost a lot of that forward momentum. And also you're not landing from coming down from the moon.
Yeah.
That one has a super steep face. But think about it, by the time you hit the landing, you're coming down from 5, 6, 7 stories. This one, you're jumping up 5, 6 stories.
What do I need to think about as far as body position on the bike for hitting a jump this big?
Your body position is pretty good, actually, standing.
Neutral.
It's a little lazy, as in like you...
Did he just say lazy? You're gonna have to define lazy.
Very vertical, kind of like Sunday stroll.
Okay, so I need to squat more.
Yes.
Even off the jumps.
Well, just allow your body to move more within the position, but also like head more forward, knees more back. You're very much so just like this.
Head more forward, knees more back.
Yes.
Okay.
And the more you can be stretched out in that position, head forward, knees back, the better. And then the idea here is we'll be third gear around the turn. I'll do it first just to make sure that this
bike can do it in third gear.
Yes.
Because we're at like a mile and a half above the ocean.
We should note that. What's the elevation here?
7,400 feet. On a 250F, he's gonna see if it'll do it in third gear, and I'm gonna trust him. If it can't do it in third, we gotta go in fourth.
Well, what do you weigh? You weigh
160.
Dead even. You weigh 5 pounds more than me, so perfect. Okay, so all that means, and I tell my students this all the time, is that you just have to trust me.
I trust
you.
you.
If I say third gear wide open, you cannot wuss out with 10 feet to go on the takeoff and decide that you're not going to go wide open, because third gear wide open would mean that we are perfectly getting to where we need to go.
So that's another thing. Constant throttle on the face of the jump, right? Yep. Whatever throttle I'm at, I stay at that throttle.
Yep.
If it's half throttle, stay there. If it's pinned, stay there. If it's quarter throttle, stay there.
There's exceptions to that, but that's when you get a little bit more advanced.
Because I'm not going to be blipping. I'm going to hold throttle, hold position, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So once I give it a test run, it's either going to be third gear wide open or we might shift to fourth and just go fourth wide open. At elevation, the 250s tend to fall flat when you shift up.
For the camera record, I just want to say I'm a novice jumper and he's going to have me go fourth gear wide open. We should probably say this is under professional supervision. Don't go fourth gear wide open after you've been on the bike for 1 hour. I'm with AJ, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, also, I know that sounds scary,
but in this case,
your jumping was pretty good. It was very good. I wouldn't have you do a big jump if I thought that there's always risk, but if I thought that you weren't ready to do this jump. So that's why I always say, if I'm telling you to do a jump, it means that I'm 100% sure that you are ready.
Yeah.
And if you just trust what I'm saying, you won't have any issues.
I just want to say, when he told me fourth gear wide open, I peed just a little bit. Just saying.
So the rule I give is the four attempt rule. And we don't even have to get to the 4 attempt rule because you've hit this enough times to where you're familiar enough with it. So
it'll be my second, first or second.
When I give it the test run, go first run, give her a test run, first run, jump to there, just make sure everything's good, make sure warmed up, whatever that. Loop back around, and then I would say second attempt. Let me just make sure that we're good. We got gas in the bike.
Yeah, it's full. AJ's very particular. He doesn't want to run out of gas on a jump, so he asked me that twice. We're full. No.
I don't trust the whole gas situation. I have PTSD because I've run out of gas many a time.
I could show you.
I actually ran out of gas the last time I borrowed somebody's bike right before I flew here.
I just want to show you. You can see gas.
Okay, yeah, let me look.
See that?
Okay.
No PTSD. That's big. That's big.
That's third gear.
Holy crap.
3/4 throttle, and I went pretty far.
So I don't need to pin it.
But also, I no offense, I probably hit the corner faster than you would hit the corner. Let me hit the corner nice and slow, and then I'll go wide open from like, see that stake with the yellow ribbon?
Yeah.
I'll really start to go wide open beginning there, so you can get maybe a more realistic.
50% AJ speed is probably 200% my speed. So you might have to go 25% around the corner and then get on it.
Okay, and keep in mind as well, like, first of all, you don't have to jump that far.
I just want to make it to the top part.
Yeah,
you made it like you overshot.
You want to get to the tree.
The tree.
Spot. I feel like I just went a little bit further.
I peed a little bit more when you jumped that.
And not wide open either. I'm 3/4 throttle.
3/4. So I can do this.
So you know the speed now. I'm going to go one more time. Watch the body position this time.
Okay, I'm going to walk up to the front of the jump here and watch that.
Because the big thing here is head. The only thing I would ever be worried about with somebody hitting a bigger jump for the first time is that you would get scared and your head would come back. As long as you keep your head where I'm keeping mine.
And it's going to be somewhere in here.
Crossbar pad or further forward. Then
okay.
You're fine.
Pad or forward. Okay. Got it. That's awesome. That is so freaking high.
And it should also give you peace of mind in knowing that where you were landing before is the most dangerous spot to land.
So now it's going to be safer, is what you're telling me.
It should only get easier the further you go. I understand that approaching a jump that fast is going to give you that feeling in the pit of your stomach, like,
yeah.
oh, I got to slow down.
You don't want me to do this one-handed, do you?
You want me to do it?
No.
I'm going to do it one-handed quick.
Oh! Okay. You know what I hate about you? You just took every single excuse away, and now there is nothing left but for me to take this bike over that.
Or it should give you peace of mind.
Okay. So I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna be a little bit more crouched than normal, but I'm not gonna try to overthink that. I'm gonna just try to.
Because your position before was very good. Don't overthink it. Just fight the urge to lean back. Do your first roll, attempt one, kind of jump like to here, or like halfway, just to get warmed up again.
Yep.
Turn around and then attempt two if you feel ready.
Got it.
That is the perfect initial approach. So would you want to land there every time? Absolutely not. But to do a trial run like that and just make sure that he's capable of staying in position.
Okay, so that's how I have been doing it. Now I'm gonna do it the way you taught me, which is 3/4 throttle, third gear.
Whatever you just did, let that give you confidence because your body position was perfect. And you landed in the hardest spot to land on.
So just do that with more commitment.
You don't even have to overthink it because that was perfect.
I got it.
It's going to feel like you're going way too fast and everything in your stomach is going to say slow down, but just don't slow down.
Okay.
Hey, I wouldn't even stop. I'd go do another one right now. A little more throttle at that yellow ribbon.
You draw the line, you know you got to stand. I stand forward.
I'm making that, aren't I?
Yeah. Hey, that's
So here's a question. So I'm landing a little nose high. How do I correct that?
well, on this particular jump, you're landing, so you're like this. Right before you touch the ground, you get on the throttle, and so by the time you impact the ground, you're doing this.
Okay.
In that situation, landing on flat, that's fine. You want to be level until just before impact, and then if you land on level ground, back tire first by a smidgen is the way to go. You don't want to loft it too much. The second one, maybe you were a little bit front end too high.
Is that probably my body position?
Well, your head could just come more forward if you want to adjust for that.
Okay, so, okay, head forward a little bit.
You don't want to make that adjustment too early. Like if you jump this thing and right when you're at the height of your jump, so right about here.
Then bring my head forward.
Because you're like, okay, the bike's starting to do this or it's starting to do this. Am I going to case it? Am I going to overshoot it? You know all of that when you're at the height of your jump.
I'll work on just having my body position a little bit more forward on the bike on the takeoff, and hopefully I won't. Hopefully I'll land flatter.
Your head could go from here to here on the takeoff.
Okay.
You'll go from here to here in the air.
Got it. That better?
That was great.
That better?
You didn't go nearly as high either. Like you torpedoed yourself pretty straight. You stayed nice and level. That was great.
And when I'm landing out here a little bit?
That was great.
Okay. So we've learned something today, and that is that you can teach an old dog new tricks. I've learned that you can take a 250F, 3/4 throttle at 7,400 feet and jump 1 million yards and land up here. This has all been made possible by a professional instructor in AJ Catanzaro here. That was cool, man.
I'll give you a compliment. You are really composed in the air. For somebody that hasn't jumped all that often, like all that frequently.
So first I'm lazy on the takeoff, but I'm cool in the air.
Well, your riding style to me just in general, I just use the term loosely. Lazy I just call lazy like being very vertical.
Yeah. Well, most of my riding single track, I'm be out for 6 hours. I'm used to standing all day, but I'm not like in the attack position.
Right, because you wouldn't be able to do that for 6 hours. Yeah. So I mean, I get why. In the air, you don't panic. You stay in position. Your head stays forward. A lot of people try to do a lot of extra.
That's
stuff.
because I'm a pilot. Did you know that? I'm an aviator, so I'm comfortable in the air.
I didn't. Are you actually? Or are you making that up?
I went to school at UVU to become a pilot. And then it turned out I'm like making YouTube videos.
Like your license?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not current, but I am instrument rated. I'm a pilot.
Oh.
So maybe that's what it is.
Maybe. Did you get what I thought described what was going to happen, as in like you were going too fast feeling?
Yeah. And I got to be dead honest with you. Mm-hmm. The only reason that I had to do this is because I had a person who was standing here and said, he rode my bike and he said, hey, look, 3/4 throttle, that was third gear. And that gave me the confidence. And then knowing that the landing here, there's basically it would, at that speed, it would be almost impossible to swap out. I think you were right. Where I was landing before was the worst possible thing.
Totally.
And it makes me wonder because I've only seen 2 different motocross tracks in my entire life, but it makes me think like, what are the other things in my life and in my riding where I'm not committing enough and it's actually hampering me?
That is an extremely common thing to do, and I don't know why. People get to the 3/4 mark, which I've nicknamed the bounce zone, because what happens at the 3/4 mark is you bounce the jump. Like when you case it, you compress and rebound, but then you end up bouncing all the way past the landing.
Same thing happened on this other jump. Before we came and actually did the class right there, I was going 3/4.
Like over and over and over?
Over and over and over. And it just sucked.
It
just sucked. And I was bouncing off the other side and it was like, this is not great. And then I saw a couple people do it. I saw you do it on that 450 Honda. And then it was just, okay, I'm just going to carry a little bit more speed. Started landing on the downhill and it's so much smoother. Yeah. Although there was one time I maybe a little bit over jumped it and I was scared. But even then, that was better. That was better than going to the 3/4 spot.
People just, they live in that bounce zone, and I don't know why. But once you get the courage to get beyond that, I mean, you have it now. So the next progression would be find another jump, go a little bit bigger, and just hit them over and over and over. And then eventually it won't feel like anything.
What about because I hear a lot of people talk about, well, just follow somebody off a jump. Do you recommend that? You know, that way you can kind of gauge the speed. What's your thought on that?
Well, first of all, you have to really trust the person.
Because if they crash, you're
make sure
dead.
they know what they're doing.
Right.
Number 2, I don't follow people off jumps. What I do, it's similar. It's just a little different. I listen. So if I know somebody in Supercross, for example, all the Supercross triples, they all say they're the same, but they're not. They're all different. There's some that are 2 feet longer, 5 feet shorter, and they all have different pitches.
He's calling out Dirtworks right now.
They're all very different. So you have to be careful, because in a 450, you could go way too far by accident. So what I do is I just listen and I hear, okay, was it pretty consistent? Was it like super hard? Were they letting off? and then I just copy that. I don't know if that's a more advanced way of doing it. You can absolutely follow somebody.
So you've heard it right now. What you need to do is listen to the bike, and if it goes, then you need to make that exact sound on your bike.
Yes.
Tricky thing though is if it's like Honda, it's like double because they've got 2 pipes.
Yeah, well, and if you're on 2-stroke or 4-stroke, then you have some issues. Make sure that the person you're listening to is on the same type of bike.
I guarantee you, I would have jumped this way better on a 2-stroke, and I kind of hate that my
Really?
2-stroke is sitting. I hate that my 2-stroke is sitting. No, that's actually not true.
I think 2-strokes are way harder to jump.
No, I believe you. There's a reason I got a 252 stroke in the truck and I left it there. So
4-stroke power is very linear and just super easy to predict.
Well, I know enough about motorcycles and dirt bikes in the years that I've been doing this that I'm like, if I want to start actually doing track, I need to get a 250F. And the only reason it's orange is because it was the only one I could get. I wanted to get the Yamaha. I wanted to get the Honda, but there were no bikes.
Honda's really good.
I ended up with this bike because I'm like, if I'm going to start learning some of these things, I'm going to do it on a 4-stroke on the track.
Yeah, it just makes life a little easier. I love the 2-strokes, and I always said I wasn't a 2-stroke guy, and I keep picking the 2-strokes in all of my bike comparisons. But the 4-stroke is the easier bike.
But for this,
and for a newbie like hitting jumps for the first time, you want that smooth power to where like it doesn't all of a sudden just take off from under you. Well, but then again, even on a 2-stroke, as long as you use the approach method that I teach, you shouldn't just hit the power band randomly out of nowhere. You've had the speed ahead of time.
Yeah.
What gets dangerous on a 2-stroke is the people that utilize the blip technique.
Blip at the end.
Because on a 2-stroke, you really don't know what the heck.
And it'll just flip out from under you, probably.
Brake traction, spin out, endo, loop out. It could be a million different things.
Wow.
That was smooth as butter.
Well, that was amazing. I want to thank AJ for doing this private lesson with me. I mean, if you have the ability to go do a class with AJ, the Moto Academy, it's amazing. He also has an incredible online training that he's building. It's getting cooler and cooler with every passing week that goes by. You're uploading more and more videos. How do people get to that?
Yeah, so if you guys just head to themotoacademy.com, you'll end up on a page where you can click club and sign up for the club. It's only $15 a month. And that's what he's talking about. It's an online motocross training community where you can send in riding footage to be analyzed. We have an entire masterclass being built out for any level of riding, which is pretty amazing. And it just continues to get added to. So that'll be like infinitely, I'm very excited about that. You can go to that, you can click the tour and see if there's any locations near you, although they are mostly sold out. So thank you guys that have signed up for classes. But yeah, sign up for the online thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
You should also sign up for the online.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I have $15 or I'll have my wife get a second job. She can start paying for that. No, I'm just kidding. No, hey, so anyone and everyone still watching this video, go check out AJ's stuff. He's an amazing rider. He's also an amazing instructor. If you saw my other video, because we recorded an interview, I don't know when that'll come out, but he's one of those types of people that can actually ride the bikes better than 99.9% of us. And he has the ability, the articulation, the vocabulary, and the professionalism to actually teach you how to do it. He's not going to yell at you, but he also won't sugarcoat it. He will say, this is what you're doing wrong. It's a fantastic teaching style that he has. And I think that we are amazingly lucky in the moto community at this time. There's so many cool bikes and there's so many cool ways to learn. And I would say that we need more instruction. All of us need more instruction. You've got a $10,000 motorcycle, invest in yourself. Or maybe you got a $2,000 motorcycle, it doesn't matter.
It's still dangerous.
Pay the $200, pay the $15 a month to get in and actually learn how to ride this thing safely. Yeah, that was amazing. So thank you for helping me jump 275 foot triple.
World record.
Like this was pretty dangerous, and I was able to do it under the supervision of a professional. So thank you so much.
That was awesome. I mean, you killed it.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone,
Yes, sir.
Click on the links down here. Support Dirt Bike Channel. Support AJ. Let's keep this thing going. How do you sign off?
I say toodaloo.
And I say leave a single track.
Yeah.
I want you guys to leave in the comments which one is a better sign off.
Toodaloo.
Is toodaloo better? Or is leave a single track better?
The guy with all the tattoos just says toodaloo.
Toodaloo. Toodaloo.
Toodles.
And he'll say, what did the other bikes sound like? They sound like, nee, 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 nee.